Good afternoon, moms of Master Books. Hope you're having a good day. I'll tell you a story that happened to us this weekend. We had out-of-town guests, and there was they have 5 children and the 2 parents, so we had 15 people in the house, and we'd been having a great time all weekend, and we went to go to bed, and as we went to climb into bed, I was hearing glug, 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 glug. It was really odd noise coming from the master bathroom. And so I said, I better go check on that. And so I opened the bathroom door, and I stepped into 2 inches of backed up water and septic. And of course, it was after a long day when you're ready to get to bed, and there was, it was about 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. And so I spent my entire night that night. It was deep enough and messy enough. It just went through the walls, and I had to spend the night basically getting it all cleaned up, cutting the walls up, putting fans in place, getting it all cleaned up, and then spent Saturday putting together the pieces to get everything flowing again so that we wouldn't have continued problems. At the same time, we had a bit of a backup here in this group. And I think the moderators did an exceptional job of dealing with it. I feel that there's still cleanup necessary. And so today, that's what I'm doing. I'm cleaning up a little bit and addressing some of the confusion and issues that we had. And maybe you're just watching and have questions about why we do what we do here. And so I'd like to have a very open discussion about this. I'm not upset at all. I'm not mad. In fact, I wasn't angry about cleaning up the mess in my house either. It's just part of what we do. And but I do want to address it. So we started this group with the intent of being able to serve our customers and do something different than what you saw all around. I wanted to connect the team at Master Books, the authors, the editors, the service people with the end user. And Facebook gave us this beautiful opportunity to create a private group where we could invite customers in. They could talk to the authors, they could talk to other users about the curriculum, they could talk to the editors and the service people, the VP of sales and marketing, even the president of the company is part of this group and sees the conversations and the dialogue that's happening. And we've made a lot of changes based on seeing where friction points were, seeing what worked, what people were responding well to, what wasn't. And so in that place, it's been an extremely valuable connection. The amount of resources that it takes, we have a fair amount of people who are dedicated to just making sure this group is served and served well. The moderators are trained. And Jessica, who manages the group now, has been a huge help in helping us make sure we stay on task. Well, because it's an official site of our company and it represents what we stand for, what we endorse, what we promote, we also have to make sure that we manage it that way. But there's a reoccurring theme, and there's a post that somebody sent me, and there were a number of posts that I was getting screenshots of that were coming in during the weekend. And this one post, I don't even know the name of the person who posted it in Moms of Master Books, but it was in Moms of Master Books, so I'm going to read it. I'm not picking on anybody, but I do want to read it because everything that's in this post is part of the reoccurring theme. And it's not just what people are saying it in Master Books, they're saying it in other groups. And I'm not completely understanding why, but I will address it. Okay. So it says, I'm interested in Master Books, but I'm becoming quite put off and concerned with the heavy regulations of this group. Jesus has set me free, and the Holy Spirit can quite well guide me. I understand the policy and I appreciate the goal, but if not careful, it can feel like shackles, and excessive control is making me a bit uneasy personally. I do like what I see about the materials, and I support the goal of being meaningful for eternity. But eternity starts here, and I love to exchange ideas with fellow moms that share a common goal and curriculum, but with homeschooling and so many variables, we need to bounce ideas. That's enriching. It's biblical too. There is wisdom found in counsel. So when I found Master Books Group, I was happy to ask and exchange ideas. But if there are so many rules and one has to watch himself so carefully, it becomes somewhat artificial. So in order to be respectful of this group, I'd be in for a group of moms like that. Okay, so that post has a lot in it, and let me unpack it a little bit if we can. Okay, the rules that we have in place. Of course, we've grown this group from 46 people to now 11,400. It's not a huge group by some standards, but it is a very active group. We've added 800 people to this group in the last 28 days. We've had 84,000 posts, comments, or reactions. That's an average of 125 interactions with this group per hour, 24/7 for the last 28 days. Our phones, if you're a moderator, the moderators can say amen to this. There are times our phone is blowing up nonstop. And just managing it and making sure that the group stays focused and that nobody's feelings are being hurt or rules are being violated, it really does take a team of people. So these are the rules that we have. There's 10 rules that are listed on our website. If you came into the group lately, we actually have those groups. You have to admit that you are homeschooling, and you have to admit that you've read the rules, understand them, and will abide by them. These are the rules. Number one, Master Books resources are the focus of this group. Posts should be about Master Books. Any curriculum comparison post should focus on specific differences in approach. If you have general questions, please ask in a general homeschooling Facebook group. So this is an official group of Master Books. It's funded by Master Books, meaning we've got skin in the game. We pay people to monitor this. We pay to make sure that it's managed and managed well. And we ask that the discussion remain about Master Books product. Now, people do come in and say, can you please tell me how this compares to another product? And that's a good discussion. That's a constructive discussion. If you said, I hate the other product, we would delete that comment too, because it's not constructive. We have in this group a lot of different homeschooling is eclectic to the fullest extreme, and we understand that. We understand that people want to talk about other curriculums and whatnot. When a post, everybody's talking about something, and then someone says, well, their solution isn't good, but I would use Apologia Science. That's where we say, okay, we have to eliminate that and delete that comment. The reason isn't because we're afraid of competing with Apologia. I don't compete with Apologia. We both do kingdom work. They serve a market that's different than ours. I'm not threatened by Apologia. Why we do that is because I have 11,000 moms here. We also sell in curriculum through Amazon and CBD and Rainbow Resources and a number of other places. We have international customers. We have, we do homeschool conventions. This group is only a portion of what Master Books does on a corporate level, okay? So anytime the market gets confused, our customer service people are inundated with questions. And because we don't have the resources to deal with confusion or supporting other people's products, that's why we have to be limited in the scope of what we can do. I can certainly talk about Saxon and Apologia and all these different companies and some of their products, and we've used them. We do use them. I bless you if you use them. But we ask that you keep all of the resources and the topics of discussion to Master Books product. We ask, number two, that you be kind and courteous. We have authors and contributors to the curriculum. Master Books staff, trained moderators are part of this group. We welcome constructive feedback and discussion, but we also ask that posts and comments are made with kindness. When we started the group, there were some times that people would actually start insulting, what were the authors stupid when they wrote this? Serious. That comment it's hurtful to an author. When you write something, you put yourself out there, and you know that that's part of the game, but subjecting yourself to that is hard. And so when I ask an author to be part of this group, I give them the commitment that I will work to make sure that I protect them, that I will do my best to make sure that the spirit in which they entered the relationship is maintained. We have the best authors, and they write because they care about the kingdom and they care about your students. And I have an obligation to them to protect them. And so if somebody starts commenting on something, taking a position that the author was ignorant or the author doesn't know what they're doing, there are so many things that go into publishing a book, and that makes certain assumptions about the author, the editors, the team, what the intent was, all of those things, that when that happens, we have made a commitment that we will not allow it. Okay? So be kind and courteous. That's all we ask. Treat other people the way you would want to be treated if you had taken your work and put it out there. No outside promotions or spam. Do not recommend any outside materials, resources, organizations, or Facebook groups. No outside links are allowed. All links should lead to masterbooks.com. Do not send unsolicited PMs to other members. Okay, again, this comes back to confusion. If I start talking about a product that's published and sold by CBD, we start getting phone calls and people will start asking, well, what about this? And then we have to explain to them that it's not something we sell. I cannot tell you, people get upset with us when that happens. So we just ask, keep the discussion to Master Books product. And outside Facebook groups, here's the problem with outside Facebook groups. We can't endorse them. If I endorse another company and all of a sudden the tone of that company changes without our supervision and without without us reviewing everything in that, all of a sudden people are like, well, I can't believe Master Books would be part of that. Why would Master Books endorse that? Why would they tell us to go there? And we have to be so careful because of what we do. And so we're just very careful to say, listen, this is for Master Books. It goes to Master Books link. If you buy from another company, we bless you in that. If you get your information from another company, we bless you in that. We would encourage you. There are some fantastic general homeschool groups out there, really, that love God, use Master Books product, and will support you. And you can ask as many generalized questions as you want. So no outside promotions or spam. Reselling is prohibited. We do not post any used materials for sale or link resale groups. We work hard to keep prices low and continually update materials. We want customers to have the newest and best products possible. Here's the deal. We are a newer company. We've been publishing since 2012 homeschool curriculum, much longer with all of our resources. And some of the books that are part of our curriculum are actually much older than that. The reason that we don't want to promote reselling is because you may buy an edition today, and then by the feedback we've gotten by the next time it gets reprinted, we update that to serve the market. And if there's friction points or anything like that, we try to correct it so that everybody who's using the next generation is getting the best product we can produce. We've seen where products go into, somebody will buy a product or have product on their shelves and they'll want to sell it. Sometimes it's a product that's outdated even. The information was bad or science has changed and we have new data that we can reference. And then all of a sudden people will buy that and then they'll call us and say, well, why doesn't the teacher guide match this book? Or they'll be confused. And so again, it creates confusion in the marketplace. We know that if you spend $200 on a Master Books book, that the resale value, you're going to want to be able to cash out of it. For a lot of our stuff, it's consumable and the prices are so low. Most business books I buy are at a $25 to $35 range for a teeny little business book. Most of our curriculum is in that price range. So we keep prices low on purpose. We want to make sure that we can also be very fluid in getting products corrected and reselling. If we were to try to do reselling, and then the other thing you have is people trying to resell other products that they confuse and think that it's Master Books, and it isn't, and it's just not a market we're in or have the resources to support. Okay, let's see. File uploads must be approved. So let me talk about that. I know that we have some absolutely brilliant moms in this group, and you are very creative and you're able to develop products and ideas from the materials we produce. But if we don't review it and it's not gone through our team, we can't support it. So my wife, who's a curriculum development editor here at Master Books, she took a sample of something she had done where she customized the Master Book product and she shared it to the group. She wanted to say it was an encouragement. There was nothing wrong in what she did. The problem was it caused so much confusion for new moms. Master Books is a hard product in some ways to kind of get your head around at first. We recommend grade levels. We have multiple solutions for one grade, all of these things. And so suddenly Kristen's free, file that was uploaded starts creating all this confusion. People are saying, well, I don't understand. It says to do this, but the book says to do this. And finally, our customer service people asked if we could remove it because it was causing people too much confusion. Great resource from a brilliant mind, I might add. But it didn't fit the process, and it caused confusion. We've come into this a little bit more as we've reached more people, and some of the products and the ideas are amazing, but we are going to have to tighten this and say, if you want files, if you have an idea, submit it through the submission process at Master Books, or there's an email address set up, which is moms@masterbooks.com, and you can submit a file to us that way. We can review it. Please don't be offended if we say it's going to cause confusion. It's not that it isn't excellent. It's just we have to be careful. We can only support the products that we produce because that's what the resources we have allocated for that, and we want to serve this market faithfully. Okay. Respect the privacy of moderators and other members. This wasn't such a big issue when we had 1,000 members. As it grows, right? We have 800 new members in 28 days, 125 interactions an hour. We just can't respond, right? And Facebook is a little different in that it doesn't allow us to separate our personal profiles from a business profile, and so we've had to set kind of a policy that we can't do friend requests and we don't do private messaging because it doesn't even come up in a feed. And like mine and Kristen's, I don't even see half of the messages, and she doesn't see half of the messages. And when we commit to a moderator, we say the same thing. When you agree to come in and help manage this group, we don't ask you to give up your Facebook page. You don't have to open up your personal life to other people. You don't have to, do private messages. The place that we do business is in the Moms of Master Books. I will say the caveat, we have an email. We have the email moms@masterbooks.com where you can connect with issues or concerns about this. We have a customer help desk. If you go to masterbooks.com support, there's a help desk where you can submit a ticket and somebody will respond to you that way. Or you're welcome to call me, 800-999-3777. And I'm happy to address your concerns that way. Sometimes we'll see where private messages or people are like PM me or I PM'd you. We will delete those comments. Only we don't want to encourage that. We've had people say, I joined this group and people are PMing me all the time, and I don't like that. Well, I understand why. This is an awesome group and we want to connect with other people, but not everybody wants to be private messaged. Other people have thrown something out there and then been inundated with private messages by a group that's this big and this engaged. So we just ask that in this group, we stay away from that. If you've been private messaged and people are asking you to join another group, or they're trying to sell something differently than what we're discussing and talking about in the group, please contact us through our support system and let us know the name of the person that's doing that so that we can remove them from the group because it's a violation of rules. Okay. Or at least address it. Okay. Legal advice cannot be provided here. If you have questions related to the legalities of homeschooling, we recommend you contact HSLDA. This group is not designed to handle those questions. 100%. I instruct our moderators. We give generalizations, but we always encourage you to go to the source. What are your state laws? What are you, what is required of you? I know it's required of me in New York State and Arkansas, but I have no idea in the other 48 countries, and I am foolish to try to tell you what you should be doing. Homeschool Legal Defense Association and Christian Law Association, they've committed the resources to be able to provide you the best support. And we also, at times, will even remove a post where somebody says, this is what the law is, And it's not because we're upset with them or anything else. It's that we want to protect the integrity of that person's reputation and the group, to make sure that everybody knows we can't provide legal advice. The only way you are responsible to make sure that your homeschool is legal and that you are in compliance, doing everything you need to do, right, in order to keep CPS out of your life. Okay. All rules are enforced. Comments and posts that do not follow the rules will be deleted. We reserve the right to remove any member for comments made against Master Books, our staff, our authors, or outside group. That's just letting you know we do intend to commit resources to make sure this group stays on task, and show as much grace and mercy as we can. And as I said earlier, when your post gets deleted or comments get paused or a moderator steps in, we understand there's confusion. We understand that people get confused as to what group they should be in, or just, respond to whatever. That we're not mad. We're just keeping the group moving forward, and it just goes with the territory, and we're not offended, and we ask that you also receive it in a spirit of grace and humility when we manage the group. Old post. Number 9, old post. If you have a follow-up question on a post that had comments turned off due to being an older post, please create a new post. Comments are turned off after a period of time, so new posts aren't missed. So we have a habit of going back through, and older posts that are older than, a certain time period, certainly like if it's a year-old post, we will stop commenting on that, because a lot of times the group has moved forward and that doesn't always even have the most accurate information, or suddenly you can have a post that was a year old and now it's filling up the feed again. So if you did a search and you can't find the information or the answer to what you're looking for, just type the question again so we can have a new discussion regarding it. Excuse me. Number 10, the last rule, questions. Questions about this group. You can email moms@masterbooks.com. There's a link to the customer service desk. Or if you found an error in the book, you can submit the error and that address is there as well. So we try to be as transparent as possible. We try to give you as many ways to connect to us as possible as well. We just ask that the group stay on task and that you be respectful and of us and of each other. And there are times where there are controversial issues that a person isn't wrong for asking, but it's just not always right in this group. So I want to give 2 examples to help understand this, because sometimes, like in the post the comment that I read initially, that it's almost like Master Books is imposing heavy rules, and we're not being we're not meeting the needs of the group. So I want to give 2 examples. One I've given before, and that's of Chick-fil-A. In Branson, Missouri, there's a Chick-fil-A. Right next to it is a McDonald's. Across the street from it is a Wendy's. If you know Chick-fil-A, right, it's the food of the angels. If you know Chick-fil-A, you know that they only serve chicken. And can you imagine if I walked into Chick-fil-A and I started telling everybody who came in the door, you would love hamburgers. If you go over to McDonald's and get a hamburger, if you started saying that, how long would they take that? Or you should go get the fries at Wendy's. They're better than the waffle fries, which I don't know why anybody would ever say that, but they're better at the waffle fries at Chick-fil-A. If it wouldn't be very long before the manager would come out from Chick-fil-A and say, "I'm sorry, Randy, but you can't be here. This is Chick-fil-A. We sell chicken. If people want hamburger, they need to go to McDonald's. That's up to McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King. That's up to them to gain their customers. The people who come in here, they're coming for chicken. That's why we exist, to serve chicken." So imagine if I got a little bent out of shape and I said, "Okay, but you serve chicken, but I don't like the marinade that you use on your chicken. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to buy a food truck, and I'm going to set my food truck up in your parking lot, and I'm going to start selling my chicken. You serve chicken. That's what you're committed to, but not all of us like your chicken." It wouldn't be very long before the manager would come out to the parking lot and say, "I'm sorry, Randy, but this isn't someplace that you can have your food truck set up. we serve Chick-fil-A brand chicken. This is what we do. This is what we've invested a lot of resources to be here for. And that's what it's like with this group. This group exists to support Master Books product, to support customers in using that product, and to help people who have questions, and also to celebrate your wins when you're using our product. We invest in that way, but we encourage you and bless you to find resources that best meet your needs in general questions and that type of thing. The second illustration that I would use is when I was pastoring a church. Our church was a little bit different from your normal church. We didn't have a stage, and we had tables in a sanctuary, and we purposely had designed a different church experience for the group. There were 10 churches in the community I pastored in. They didn't need another traditional church. The community needed a different approach. And so we did that. And it happened fairly often that somebody would come into the church and really love the energy and the vibe that the church had. They loved the people and the connections, but they didn't like the format. And so then they would start to put pressure on the church to change. The problem with that wasn't what the church was intended for. The church was intended to help connect people in a different way. And it wasn't that the church was wrong, and it wasn't that they were wrong. They were just wrong, and they were just in the wrong church. They expected something that was never intended for that church. And some in the group, the idea that we need to be able to have freedom to talk about whatever we want and bounce things off other people, it's not that that's wrong. It's not. You need to have fellowship, and you need to connect with other people. It's just this isn't what that group was intended for outside of talking about Master Books curriculum. And please hear my heart on it. I'm not coming at it from a judgmental, attacking spirit. We're asking for cooperation because we want to continue serving this community at a high level. And it takes so many resources and so much energy to do what we do with this group. And as it continues to grow, we need cooperation in doing that. We need people to understand that the rules we have and the way that we manage the group is so that we can continue doing what we do in this group, even at a level where, the number of comments per hour, comments and reactions per hour, even as that grows from 125 per hour to 1,000 an hour, we want to continue being able to serve that. We want to continue celebrating the wins with you and celebrating the wins of your kids. We want to continue doing teaching tips and helping invest in you as a teacher. And so we're just asking for the cooperation of this community to hear our heart that we're not angry because people want us to be something that we're not. But we do have to say, this is why we exist. And because of that, we have to have rules that help guide us, even on days when one of us is busy cleaning up septic. The rules help carry us through those times. So the last thing I want to address is starting other groups. A lot of people will come into this group, get a little bit irritated because a post got deleted or it's not completely meeting their needs. So the idea is, I'm going to go start another group. If that's what the Lord is calling you to, we support you and bless you in that. I would ask that you don't use the Master Books name. Master Books is a registered trademark. There's been a lot of resources invested to getting word out about Master Books and the brand that we are and what we stand for. And when you take and use a name that's registered and that people have invested in to promote a brand and you make it part of your name, it causes more confusion. And it's not really an honest representation of what's happening. And so we would just ask, it's so easy to start a Facebook group, right? And if you are called to that, I think you should do it. But it does add a lot of confusion when people have Master Books group and new people are coming into groups, and then there's negative talk, or there's talk about other curriculums, or there's talk about other companies and different things that are going on. And they have, new people are just confused. And we end up doing a lot of work to have to kind of re-explain who we are, what we do, everything else. Believe it or not, we've had people join this group that have been part of other companies and just disrupt things. And it's a difficult task making sure this group stays healthy and that we are able to do what we do. So, all right. Well, I'm hoping that this was helpful to you. I hope that it explained it. I hope you hear my heart that I just hope you hear the I'm coming across right as I'm explaining this to you, because we do care about this community and we care about serving this community. We very much value and appreciate our customers. The Master Books customers, you are our tribe. You get what we're trying to do in an eternal scope, and we want to continue doing that and doing it well. All right. Well, God bless each of you. Thank you very much for your time in listening to this, and we really do appreciate your support moving forward. God bless, guys.